All right. So today we're going to be looking at the actual version of Mortal Kombat Trilogy that is going to be in the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. I was actually really surprised with this choice, so let's dive in. It is, of course, the PlayStation 1 version. Now, I thought, and to be fair, the reason why the PC version is the best is because there's no load time, right? But they announced that no, this is actually the PlayStation 1 version that we're actually going to be having in the collection. Now, you might go, well, isn't that kind of bad because of the load time? Well, there is going to be no load time. As far as I know, like they mentioned specifically Shang Tsung morphs here. But I'm assuming too, then you won't need things like the versus screen, buy-in screen, or whatnot, because these things you could turn on or off to reduce the amount of time there would be between matches for loading. Because when you choose a character, they come together, and then when the game's over, then you got the buy-in screen to really go back and select the character. So they actually had these systems in place, these options in the PlayStation 1 version, so that way you could reduce load times. Now let me show you what happens when you actually morph on Shang Tsung in the current PlayStation 1 environment. But they have said that they've actually gone into the code and actually been able to remove those limitations, which is amazing. Which basically means it puts this on par with the with the PC version. In fact, even the PC one version, which is definitely the superior one, I did notice that there is at least one stage that has a graphical issue. So it'll be this one basically was pretty much flawless in terms of no hiccups or glitches or whatever graphically. But we'll see how it all rolls out. But obviously things like this where it's going to sit here and load, this is all going to be sped up, I'm assuming. It won't just be obviously things like Shang Tsung's morphs. They've obviously figured a way around that, which is pretty interesting. So you'll notice here, when he morphs, there's a brief pause. And then it will go to the character. That's bad. That's really, really bad, man. Right? Now, you can set it to limited or none. There we go. When he morphs back, it has to reload Shang back into the game. And that's it. Right? Which is pretty terrible. So when I first heard it was the PlayStation 1 version, I thought, oh, okay. Oof. Shang Tsung morphs, but they know. This is how you know these guys know exactly what they're doing. Because they know exactly all of this sort of stuff. Now, the PlayStation 1 version over the N64 one is the superior version. They haven't made any announcement to the N64 one yet. It wouldn't surprise me down the track that we got DLC packs to add in additional versions of the games. Right now, they're wanting to get out probably the best version of each one. Obviously, a lot easier with the old 8 and 16-bit ones, but as you get up higher, some of them are so negligible between the two that there's no point having them all. So you try and go with the best one available. Now, obviously, the PlayStation 1 version has 4 secret characters in terms of classic characters, right? And we also have the option of male chameleon, which you access by highlighting any of the ninjas and then doing the very specific button input. Although I'm actually wondering if they'll actually make that easy to access as well. Maybe there'll be an option to be always chameleon, and it doesn't matter who you choose, you'll just be chameleon straight up. Now, the other thing too is the playable bosses, right? You got Goro, Shao Kahn, Motaro, and Kintaro. Now, I don't know if they're going to add anything else. I don't know if they've gone in and added in a female chameleon. That'd be fucking insane. That'd be really, really cool as a secret character. You'll highlight them. Or you have another option menu to do that. That'd be awesome. But this is why it's just the superior version, because of these options that you have available right here. Okay, and so that's why I'm very happy that they've not only put in a superior version, but they've between it and the N64, but they've also put in a version that that doesn't have the load times as well. So that's really, really handy. Now, there are some differences. There were some compromised stages in the N64 one where they made I think a star bridge and other stuff. I think another stage where it was like a 3-tier level, so you could uppercut and then uppercut again. So that was like, yeah, it was, you know, it was all right. But I'm very glad that, you know, I'm just very glad that they chose this version. Honestly, you know, like we won today, boys and girls. We absolutely won. Now, the character select screen, right? Looks pretty good on the PlayStation 1. So I saw some pictures at Evo where people were playing on MK Trilogy, and it looked pretty much the same, kind of similar sort of pixelation stuff. By the way, shout out to, I forgot this code, but shout out to Inner Loco. You can press up and start on Sonya, and so that way when you choose a character, you can then choose a stage that you want to start on, which is really awesome. Okay. I'd love to know whether or not like they'd add in any additional stages. I think it's just going to be as is. But considering they've gone into the code to figure out the loading time, I'd wonder if they'd add in a couple of the old stages that were missing. There was a couple of stages from MK1 that didn't make it into the original trilogy version. I think it was the Palace Gates that wasn't in there. I think maybe the Warrior Shrine or something like that, perhaps. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see if there's anything else that they add in, like, which would be pretty cool, man, as far as I'm concerned. But otherwise, what you're seeing is pretty much gonna be what you get. Right? This is MK Trilogy is a load of fun, and I'm going to address the boss thing in a minute, okay? Because I know me and Title will get into this as well, because of the whole, you know, the boss stuff, and you know, and it's somehow like a breaking of the game. Like, I'm going to say this off the bat, right? And this will be really interesting too when you play online. Will they nerf the bosses to regular damage when you play online, or they might even not make them available? But hopefully they'll just make them available, but they'll have normal damage. And I'll show you what I mean by that. There's actually a secret menu that you can access in the game by holding all 4 shoulder buttons and up, and then eventually it will shake and you can access the secret menu in Trilogy. And this allows you to access things like 1-button fatalities, recovering health, stuff like that. But there's also an option there for boss health, all right? So that's what I'm hoping we'll actually get, right? So you got 1-button fatality, instant aggressor, normal boss damage, right? So I'm assuming that when you're using the bosses and fighting against the bosses, it'll make it so that, you know, they just take as much damage as anyone else, and they only give as much damage as anyone else, or whatnot. Also low damage, and of course health recovery as well. So I'm hoping those options there. From what I understand, all of these types of secret options, codes, menus, all that sort of stuff, we got confirmation that I think it was the EJB, the Edward John Boone secret arcade menus will be made available as well. We've got 8-player combat, so we'll actually be able to like go in. If we can use this mode online, we'll actually be able to go in and actually like kind of like almost like set up tournaments. I mean, that's gonna be. Let's see if I can show you guys what it's like. There we go. So we'll just start choosing characters. We've got 1 and 2, right? And then we'll go. Hang on. 3 and 4, 5 and 6, and then 7 and 8. So now I've chosen all the characters for the thing, and here it is. It's exactly like a tournament. Exactly like a tournament. So this will be great. We'll be able to just run tournaments like fucking stupid. Inbuilt system for it. Don't get a lot of fighting games that do that now, do you? So that's going to be really cool. So yeah. So anyway, guys, I'll leave it there. Let me know what you think. of this new bit of information. I will be covering, obviously, the physical collector's edition and deluxe and standard versions that are going to be made available as well. Or sorry, made available. Not in my country, though. I'm going to have to sort that shit out with an American hombre, right? Because I can't get them, which is terrible, right? I feel very vexed over that. At least I can't get them here. Anyway, guys, catch you next time.